I have a new resource for you if you're overscheduled, overwhelmed, and need a realistic way to scale back without falling behind. Minimum Effective Day Planning is a mini training with a guided audio and workbook to help you design a day where you'll do less on purpose and focus on what truly matters, one day at a time. You'll find it at positivelyproductive.com/resources. A minimum effective day is a burnout-proof way to design your day around what matters most, while honoring what you need to function and feel human, and to live well. That's the whole point of being productive. You're listening to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Zaratny, founder of Positively Productive Systems, and a productivity coach certified in positive psychology and stress management. Join me as we explore ways to live a more proactive, positive life, with episodes on productivity, self-awareness, mindset, entrepreneur life, habits and systems, simplicity, fun, and more. I understand overwhelm personally as a multi-passionate entrepreneur, wife and mom to kids and cats, and as a caregiver. I'm here to help you choose what's right for you so you can do less, live more, and breathe easier. Sound good? Let's get to it. Welcome to the Positively Living Podcast. I'm your host, Lisa, and if planning your day tends to leave you more overwhelmed than when you started, this episode is for you. In the last few episodes, we've talked about taking action, real practical action that moves your life forward without burning you out. And one of the places I see people struggle most isn't in the doing, it's in the planning itself. It's the intention and structure of the day that trips them up. Starting the day with a list that's too long, treating everything as urgent, cramming in more than any realistic day can hold. That approach is what sets them up to feel behind before they've even begun. You see, most planning advice overestimates your life, and that's what we've come to expect. That's what we keep trying to do. It assumes you have a clear head, stable energy, an uninterrupted block of time, and a to-do list that's already organized and prioritized. The only way this advice will work is if you've used it to plan from a place of calm with ideal conditions that most of us, or dare I say, probably all of us, rarely have, or never have even. So I ask the question, what about when you're tired, when you're exhausted, soul weary even? What about when your list feels endless and more gets added to it every day and you can't keep up? What about when your life is messy and your capacity is limited and you're just trying to survive? Traditional planning doesn't address that, nor does it have an effective response when you ask the question. If the advice that it prescribes doesn't work, the default follow-up is, well, do more, plan better, try harder. And when that doesn't work, which it often doesn't, the whole thing wasn't designed for real life, for your life, it's easy to assume you're the problem. And let me be clear about this. You're not. Yes, we do have some responsibility and some culpability, but more often than not, the problem started with it being the wrong approach. And in this case, the problem is starting with the plan. It's in our nature to optimistically or mistakenly plan too much to start with. And then when we're overwhelmed and running behind and frantic about it, our instinct is then to plan more. But trying to fix overwhelm with more planning and adding more to your to-do list and to your schedule is like trying to put out a fire using kindling. It's going to add to your problem, not solve it. What actually helps is a different approach entirely, and one that you may find counterintuitive, but please stay with me. You need one that's designed for real days, limited capacity, and the kind of life where you can't fix everything at once, which I would argue is the most common kind. It's the kind we all have. This approach works one day at a time, doing less and doing it effectively. It helps you regroup and builds into a practice that shapes how you plan going forward so you can be even more effective and live your life in a better way. I call it the minimum effective day, and I'm going to walk you through it today. The concept of a minimum effective day comes from the phrase minimum effective dose, a term used in medicine and research. It refers to the smallest amount of something needed to produce the desired result. See, that's the key there. What do you need exactly to produce what you desire? So you actually don't want the maximum or really anything over that minimum because it's a waste and it might not actually be as effective. And I love applying this concept to productivity and especially to planning because it flips the script entirely. It changes our perspective on what it means to plan and how we are really going to chip away at all that we have to do. And there's a hint in there when I say chip away at it. So instead of asking, how much can I get done today? You ask, what does today actually need? And that's a much more sustainable question. And please don't let the word minimum fool you. This isn't about doing less for the sake of it. It's about doing less with intention, focusing on what's truly essential. A minimum effective day is a burnout-proof way to design your day around what matters most, while honoring what you need to function and feel human, and to live well. That's the whole point of being productive. And here's my favorite part. You don't need anything special to do this. You don't need a perfect plan, which would be ironic and completely counter to this point. You can start with what's already in front of you, your calendar, your current to-do list that you're working from, or simply what's been taking up space in your head and overwhelming you. Any of this will work, and the steps are simple and straightforward. To design a minimum effective day, I will have you work through 5 prompts. They're simple, they're quick, and they work together as a system. Let's walk through them. The first prompt is the true must-dos, the essentials. That's really the foundation of like what you're choosing for the day. So this is not your full list. It's not your aspirational one. It's not everything you feel like you should do. The things that genuinely need to happen today are the things that belong on this list. Most of us carry a mental list that's far too long, and when we try to tackle all of it, we spread ourselves thin and often end up feeling like we've accomplished absolutely nothing. And that's really the distinction, right, between being productive and busy. Even on days when we actually did quite a bit, whether we're productive or busy, it feels like so much and we're spread so thin that we don't feel productive. The true must-dos prompt asks you to get honest. If today you could only do 3 things, what would they be? This challenges you to figure out what's important, what's essential, and that clarity alone can change how you see your day and also how you see planning for your day. Instead of overfilling and overcrowding, you are being very selective and intentional. You want to ask yourself, if today only has room for what truly matters, what would that be? The second prompt is the support you need to function, your needs. Sustainable productivity requires care. Often we talk about self-care, but I'm just talking about the basics here, the things we skip when we're busy and then wonder why we're running on empty and we don't seem to be able to function. Food, hydration, movement, rest. And another part of it that we think about even less sometimes, help and support, even delegation. This portion isn't a luxury section. This strengthens the infrastructure that makes everything else possible. It's foundational. It's like the gas you put into your engine, right? That makes the engine run better, or run at all for that matter. When we plan our tasks but ignore our needs, we're building on a foundation that's already crumbling. We're setting ourselves up for failure. This prompt asks you to plan for the basics alongside everything else, not as an afterthought, but as a critical element. Ask yourself, how will I take care of myself so I can show up my best today? and make sure that you build that in. Prompt number 3 is a moment of joy or relief that touches upon your humanity. Sustainable days need small reminders that you are human. It's not even so much that you have to remind yourself that you're human, but that you need to honor it. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. It could be a walk, a good cup of coffee. You notice how I say that, right? A phone call with someone you care about, 10 minutes with a good book, something that touches your heart, touches your soul, that gives you a moment of joy or a moment of relief or just a spark that inspires you. We leave this out of our planning all the time because we don't think of it as important. We're thinking about getting the productive things done. Days start to feel like a series of obligations, and we feel robotic in what we do. That's no way to live, and it's a fast track to burnout. It's also the fastest way to set up what you need to do and then not want to do it. It tanks our motivation. So building in even one small moment of that time that connects you back to your humanity, it changes the feel of your entire day. So ask yourself, what's something that will lift my spirits, bring me relief, or simply remind me that I'm human, I'm a person, and not a productivity machine? Prompt number 4 is an anchor block. And here's where we start to practice boundaries in a really simple way. Instead of trying to schedule every hour, that overscheduling, that over-organizing, that is the default response we tend to have, which actually creates more stress than structure. It's the complete opposite of what we intended to be. This prompt is going to ask you to choose just one block of time to anchor your day around. And again, this is a starting point. You can build eventually, but whenever you are overwhelmed, whenever it's too much, whenever you need to step back, this is how you need to do it with a minimum effective day. And so that means one block. So it might be focused work. It might be time for admin or logistics or recovery or rest. It could be time for connection with family or flex time that you protect so that the day doesn't completely take over. Because sometimes we do need to be really flexible and call an audible, so to speak, right? I get that. But that one block of time needs to be protected. And it's good to get into the practice of doing that so that no matter what, no matter who comes with something urgent, no matter whose urgent a task is, you protect that time. And each day it can change. As you plan your minimum effective day, it can be a different type of block, which allows you to touch upon different areas in your life as needed over the course of a week or a month or longer. But for each day that you're planning, for each minimum effective day, you're picking one anchor. That's it. When you know what you're protecting, it becomes much easier to make decisions about everything else surrounding it. The anchor block gives your day a center of gravity. You'll want to ask yourself, what is the one block of time that I will protect today? Prompt number 5 is a permission statement. Simply put, it's giving yourself grace. This may be my favorite part, and it's also the one that I see people trying to skip in the name of determination and achievement. We carry so much pressure into our days, expectations of what we should accomplish, how we should feel, how efficient we should be. Should. Stop shoulding on yourself. When the day doesn't match the image of what you have, your belief, your identity, the inner critic gets really loud. The permission statement interrupts that cycle. I wanted to say shuts them up. Either way, it's time to stop. It's time to allow yourself some grace. And this may sound like I'm allowed to end the day without finishing everything. Completion is not the only measure of success. What I do should support me, not just my tasks. Or it might be even simpler. Today, this is what enough looks like. You get to define what a successful day means. not by an impossible standard, but by a realistic, human, compassionate one, and by one that changes with you and honors the season of your life that you're in. That definition is worth writing down. Ask yourself, what am I allowing myself today? What gift of grace am I giving myself? And those are the 5 prompts. Simple and straightforward. Maybe not easy when you first start to practice it, because again, it can be counterintuitive to what you used to do, but what you used to do is bringing the overwhelm and the burnout, so we need to do something different. What I love most about this framework is that it's repeatable. It's not just repeatable, it's meant to be repeated. There's so much benefit. This is a wash, rinse, repeat situation, and it's so flexible too. You can use it the night before to design tomorrow. You can use it in the morning as a steady reset when you realize things have changed. You can use it on both your hardest days and your normal ones. It works as a rescue plan when you're overwhelmed and as a proactive practice when you're not. Each time you use it, it quietly shapes how you think about planning, what matters, what can wait, and what you actually need to function well. The more you use it, the better you'll be at designing a day that works just right for you. And you'll have the tools to adjust when life does. That's what makes it sustainable. It's not a system that requires your best days to function, but one that works for all of them. If you'd like to put this into practice with a little more support, I've created a minimum effective day mini training that walks you through all 5 prompts with a guided audio and a planning workbook that you can use again and again. It goes beautifully with this episode and provides more detail on how to work through each prompt. You can find it on the resources page at positivelyproductive.com/resources. As always, I'd love to hear how this lands for you. Are you an overplanner or simply have too much to do and no way to reasonably plan it? Or would you like to try this approach, but you're not feeling sure about it? Whatever you're feeling and thinking about this, I'd love for you to message me your thoughts and feedback. Let's dig into this more. You can reach me through the website, through social media like Instagram at positively_Lisa, or by replying to any email you receive when you're on my VIP list. You can request to be on the newsletter, or if you request any of the freebies, you're on the newsletter. And when you purchase the minimum effective day mini training, you'll also be on the VIP list as well. You can hit reply to any one of those emails and I will answer you personally. And when you try this, let me know what your minimum effective day looks like. I'd love to share it with my VIPs and online to inspire others. Whether this is new to you or a reset you needed, I encourage you to start with one day and see what's possible when your plan actually fits your life. Thank you for joining me today. Your time is precious, and I'm honored you chose to spend it with me. I hope this episode inspired you, and I encourage you to think about one action you can take based on today's topic. Then share it with me so I can cheer you on. Go to positivelyproductive.com to connect with me, read blog posts, and access links from each episode and download resources.